All right, guys. So the world government shut us down because we were, given too many spoilers. We were getting some technical difficulties. But they probably will not expect us to create a second stream. They probably would have expected me to just say, you know what? An hour was long enough. We talked about things and go about my day. But you know what? We're about this One Piece life, and we're going to continue talking about everything. Okay? Because there's still stuff to talk about. They're coming for me again. Oh, man. All right. So, Lucy B said that she watched other streams today and had the same problem. Okay, so maybe this is just a YouTube thing, an OBS thing, I don't know. But Diz of the Ghost, your donut was not lost to the void. It is still a part of that video, and I'm going to read it here. So don't worry. Okay? There is a way for me to go into YouTube, and I can access Super Chats separately from, the actual stream that it was in. So just give me a moment, and I'll pull it up. Oh, yeah. Ryo, is there something better than OBS? I mean, OBS has been working fairly well. I mean, we've had a couple of technical difficulties in the past, but nothing that wasn't like, oh, let me just unplug the mic and then plug it back in. But, this was kind of ridiculous, and I'm sorry, everybody. So, let's see.
Savage.
Very motivated said that we survived the Buster call. Alright. Alright, now I'm in the super chat area. Okay. I'll get to new ones in a minute. I see Toilet Tube just did a super chat, but I want to read the ones from the previous stream here. Okay. Let's see if they're all right. So looks like I also missed one from Bastiano T. So sorry about that. That was like way earlier on.
Savage.
He said in chapter 8, Luffy drops out of the sky. Says Nami says you came to rescue me. Luffy then frees and restores her smile. Nika was set up since the prologue. Oh man. I'm gonna take a look at that. I mean, that's maybe a reach, but at the same time, if as a storyteller, if you know where you're going to go, right? And for anybody that's watching this stream and expecting a reaction, all right, I feel like I should probably preface this if they clicked on this beforehand. We had some technical difficulties in the first stream. My reaction is in that one. We talked about certain things in regards to Nika and that. This is a continuation. All right. Let's see. Super chat from Chad Ocho said, didn't see anyone else pointed out yet, but Who's Who uses finger pistol spots, which was previously used by Rob Lucci. Wonder which one of them invented it. So it's possible that someone above them invented it. I mean, Rokoshiki's been around for a while, but you got to keep in mind that, when Lucci was 10 years old or whatever and just a small recruit, Who's Who would have been 18. So Who's Who would have been someone that Lucci may have even looked up to in the ranks of CP9, you know? So, I mean, it's possible that Who's Who did invent something like that. You know, I want to know who got their fruit first. You know, who was copying who at that point. Shout out to Raizo.
Savage.
He said, "Happy 4th of July, my American brother, and hope every Canadian had a great Canada Day." Yep, that's coming up, 4th of July, guys. Man, I just hope it's not like last 4th of July. New York City was so noisy last year. You know, people were getting out their frustrations from being locked up from the quarantine, somehow got their hands on an absurd amount of fireworks, to where fireworks were just going off every 2-3 minutes, and that, like, the entire day for almost a month. I don't know how it was happening, but that happened. So I'm good with, you know, an hour or two of fireworks, but I do not want a month of fireworks again. Another super chat from Amrit. Greek god Nika is a goddess, or Nike, maybe Vivi. She was in Reverie last time, maybe tried to free some slaves. I was also interested in her. So that would be interesting if it was Vivi. I mean, you know, I think that Alabasta is going to be very crucially tied to the sun god, because their flag is just a sun. You look at the Alabasta ships, you look at everything that ties into it, is just a sun. So I think that, you know, a lot of the allied nations and all that stuff that, you know, maybe against the world government or anything like that, they have to be all of these ones that have some sort of a sun symbol to them, like even the Kozki clan. The crest resembles a sun as well. You know, you have the Sun Pirates, you have sun imagery in Fishman Island. And it just seems like those islands are all sort of tied together in a way. A super chat from Michael Lacoste.
Savage.
Has anyone mentioned Jayabaya, aka Joyo Boyo, a Javanese figure who was known for reuniting his kingdom? He's also part of a recurring prophecy. No one has mentioned it yet. I'm going to look into that as well. I was very impressed with the West Indian Joy Boy. So I'm going to be definitely looking that up and talking about that extensively when I do my analysis. But I'm going to look into this Joyo Boyo as well. And, yeah. Shout out to my guy Dan DiCarlo yelling out the Sunny, right? The Sunny go. The sun. Super chat from Dizza.
Savage.
Dizza the Ghost. Break stream idea. One Piece, peoples, places, ideals versus real world inspirations and how it affects the story going forward. Example, Nami and Wukong. Also V-Recard thoughts. That's not a bad idea. You know, because I mean, we could definitely spend a long time talking about different characters and different inspirations that people may not know. You know, I know that there's actually, I've seen a couple of videos that have been put out about that stuff, but they're like 5-10 minutes long, and they definitely don't span across everything. You know, mostly just talk about how, you know, Mr. 2 is like Jim Carrey and stuff like that, or but you know, there are actually real world inspirations for a lot of the islands as well. Like, obviously, you know, one of the more obvious ones would be like Water 7 being Venice, but then, you know, there's even like a rock formation that looks like Zunisha, you know, and these are things. So that's something that you know, could be fun. You guys bring your own things that you've found, and, you know, by the end of the stream, maybe we'll have talked about all of the real world inspirations. But in those situations, we also need to have images, I think. So maybe that does work as a separate video. I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll keep the conversation going in the chat with that. And then the last super chat from the previous stream that I didn't get to was Brandon King said, some people said Enel will return in Elbaf. I'm okay with that too. Have him fall from the sky. The lightning god, the god of thunder. Yeah, Thor. We already know that there's a Loki in Elbaf, right? All right, so I know Toilet Tube did a super chat earlier here.
Savage.
About Act 3, I still think it's ending soon. Act 1 was 16, not exactly 15 chapters. If Act 3 ends when these fight chapters are over. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. I mean, I was definitely on board with this chapter being the end of the act, right? Talking chapters ago. But the thing is that I still think I still think that Oda's going to do something where we're going to get the Kaido and Yamato flashback, and then the act is going to end. From a story structure perspective, we started with a little bit of a prologue. All hope is lost. Go into the Oda flashback. We come back. All hope is not lost. We do Onigashima. We go through all of these fights. We get a moment where we understand that Luffy's on his way. He has a path to get back to Onigashima, right? Once we have that moment, then all of the fights will have ended. We'll start getting the Kaido and Yamato flashback. We'll get a little bit of an epilogue. Maybe Luffy, after the flashback, has made it back to Onigashima. And then Act 3 ends. Do our little act break, come back. Act 4 is all about the final fight with Kaido. If we're doing a 5-act structure, Act 5 is the epilogue. Everybody's sort of healing, figuring out stuff, but of course there's going to be some sort of a threat that still looms, and that'll take us to the next island or something. That's sort of the way I see it. And then, let's see. My guy, Maxo.
Savage.
Just a huge shout out to Oda for managing to tie all of these disparate folklores together by finding common threads and weaving them into the best story. Yeah. That's why when there's a lot of common criticism about One Piece, comes about the Chosen One prophecies, he's tying too much pop culture into it, he's tying too much folklore into it. Oda is literally creating the ultimate story by combining just about every story ever told into one story. And it's the definitive story. You're getting a little bit of everything. Wano, it's all about the Japanese folklore. Someone that has read One Piece, or some kid in Japan or something that's maybe just doing everything and seeing the stuff going on with Tama, and then learns about Momotaro, is probably going to say, wait, but that's Tama, and that's that's sort of the funny thing. And then it's well, obviously this other thing was first. So, but Oda, he weaves it masterfully. Yeah. Revolver. Thank you.
Savage.
Im is the god of the sea, of the ball cycle. I've seen this, and I think that it will tie into Imu, and I think that there's a whole bunch of stuff that is being thrown into Imu. I believe it's that. But one of the most obvious connections to me, and something that I noticed immediately, was that Imu is just Umi backwards, which is the sea, right? In Japanese, umi means sea. So all of that is very on purpose. And then there's also a lot of stuff with Adam and Eve and that whole stuff that kind of ties into emu as well. All right. So I got through all the super chats, checking out the chat now. And I just want to thank everybody for being in here. I want to thank everybody for dealing with the technical difficulties that we had earlier and all of that and coming back. Or if you're, new to the stream and you missed the other part, feel free to check out the reaction and the other stuff that we talked about there, because there was a lot of very interesting stuff. Drake Lucan said, "Are gods real in One Piece now?" He said, "No, I'm not talking about Usopp, but yes." All right. Usopp is real. Even if you're not talking about him, God Usopp is real. I believe that the gods in One Piece will just be legendary men. That's, or women, just from the past. And that their legends were construed into acts of godliness or whatever, it's very possible that the first devil fruits and everything like that, people thought that it was like some sort of a god or a demon or something like that, and that's why they're called devil fruits in the first place. It's a possibility as well. Lou Patterson, thank you. Oda casually creating the ultimate hero's journey while we all frantically research etymology of new characters' names when a single chapter drops. Pretty much. We analyze this whole thing on a weekly basis. And yeah, we do that. But he is doing that, and I think it is the ultimate hero's journey. I'll say that to the end of time here. It's fantastic. But and it's like researching that etymology, researching that folklore is the way you understand where those characters are going to go in the story. Oda's never going to, he's not going to do a complete one-for-one recreation of the folklore. But he's gonna tie the core themes into it. I talk about the Momotaro one because it's so obvious. Momotaro, the boy feeds kibi dangos to a dog, a pheasant, and a baboon, and then sails on a ship to Onigashima and slays the Oni king, right? And we have Tama, who feeds kibi dangos to a baboon and a dog, and then sails on a ship to Onigashima. And yes, in the Momotaro folklore, if you don't know, it's called Onigashima in that as well. And now is turning the tide on the Oni king, right? And Kaido is the Oni king, uses the same weapon that is in that folklore. And that's how I was able to say, like, Tama may not have been on the ship or anything, but somehow she's going to end up on Onigashima because that's the story of Momotaro. She is Momotaro. So, got a super chat from Cheeto650. Thank you.
Savage.
Said Usopp is the sun god. Usopp is his own god. All right. He's the god. It's possible. We could sit here and we could look at panels and we could theorize all day, and we could say that Usopp's the sun god. We could say that Luffy's the sun god. We could say that, Nika is the sun god, and there will never be another one, and there doesn't need to be. But it seems that all of these things do need to make a return. I still like the idea that Nika was Joy Boy, and that Nika was just their real name, and Joy Boy was a title. And that kind of tracks with what I just read earlier about the West Indian Joy Boy, is that it was a title that was given to the the musicians and the dancers that brought joy to the people. So I think that music is going to tie very heavily into whatever flashback we get with Joy Boy. He's probably a musician. Gabe C said, if Usopp is God, what does that make Sniper King? Well, they're two different people, Gabe. Enigma Sword said, is Wano now the longest One Piece arc? Yeah, I think as of like a couple of chapters ago, it surpassed Dressrosa. So, yeah. Ryo asked, did I see the Viewer card leaks? So I didn't see them. If there was anything more than the bounty stuff, like I saw something about bounties for Marco, Izo, and the Revolutionary Army commanders. Is there more? Because I haven't seen it yet. I've basically, I kind of step away from everything until the chapter comes out because I don't want to get spoiled. But if there's more than that, I want to see it, and we can talk about it. PXPX. Does this also tie into Bing Sake? Everybody partying, dancing, and singing along after every arc, referring to my tweet about Joy Boy. Yeah, PXPX. Like I'm definitely going like hard on what you tweeted me because I think that's. I still want to know what that's from. Like what magazine? Where did you find that? Because I want to look more at that. Chrissy, what was your thought as well? Same. We just rewatched the rest of Development recently. Michael Lacoste said Big Sake was written by the original Joy Boy.
Savage.
Yeah, I mean that tracks, and I've thought that as well, and this sort of ties into this whole thing about the West Indian, everything about that and how music based it is. So, David Tay said Brooke is Nika. He does music and has a soul. Oh. Rao said the viewer cards had Roger's sword. Okay, so Roger's sword has a name. I'd love to know that. Ages for the scabbards. Love that. Bounties for the revolutionaries. Okay. Pro DLC.
Savage.
Luffy's dream was to make everyone laugh or smile. That's why it's a childish dream. Connections, smile, forced, focus on character-specific laughs, and now Nika. As possible. I mean, I expect something as simple as that. Maybe not exactly that, but it's got to be something simple. That's why he was laughed at. That's why Roger was laughed at. But I don't know. I think the wording makes more sense. I could see Luffy and Roger sharing the same thing of, I just want to put a smile on everyone's face. Or I want to see a smile on everyone's face. Yeah. Sagar Patel.
Savage.
The Thousand Sunny is the sun god. Yeah, we talked about that for a little bit. And it was like, we were talking about all the things that are sun related. The Alabasta flag, Koski crest, the sunny. Let's see. There it is right there. Maxo.
Savage.
If Bink's Sake was written by Joy Boy, then the One Piece is his accumulated royalties. What if the One Piece is like a giant musical arrangement, all in one piece? Patrick Fowler, thank you.
Savage.
What if no one is Nika? There's lots of themes of apotheosis and instances of false gods in One Piece. Perhaps Nika is an amalgamation of past heroes. The whole crew could represent Nika in the present. Yeah, well, I was just saying that earlier, that no one needs to be Nika. And really no one needs to be Joy Boy, but I mean, it seems like Oda is sort of setting that up a little bit. But an amalgamation of past heroes? Yeah. It could be an idea. You know, it's just every century there's a new Joy Boy of some that like sort of pushes the envelope a little bit. And, yeah. I don't think anybody needs to be Nika. Because I think that the title of Joy Boy is the thing that is transferred. Nika was a person centuries ago that did probably some wild things that people attributed to a godlike nature. Had some sort of a power, some sort of an ability. Maybe the first devil fruit user, who knows? I mean, that depends on if the devil fruits were actually, you know, like born from a tree without any sort of man-made influence. You know, that we still don't know if devil fruits existed during the Void Century or anything like that, or if they're sort of a recent thing that Vegapunk created or something like that. You know, who knows? We don't know the timeline of how long devil fruits have been around. Oh wait, no, we do, because Toki had one, and that was so. Yeah, devil fruits have been around for centuries. So then, yeah, Nika could be the first person to have a devil fruit. Yeah, so they're not man-made. They were on the trees and all of that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Toki. Just Toki's existence is what let us know how long devil fruits have been around. PXPX said, the source of the book is under the tweet, The Encyclopedia of Things That Never Were, by Michael Page and Robert Ingpen. Alright. If it's something that never was, then how is it going to tie into One Piece? Roger's sword is named Ace. You serious? Okay. People are saying that the big sake is the One Piece. Michael Lacoste said that I figured it out. Maxo said Oda just drops sheet music, chapter 1337. Oh, man. Emil Diaz, who's who gives away secrets like candy on Halloween. This man was just, he was just doing a supervillain monologue the whole chapter. And he's just like telling Jinbei, like, tell me what I want to know. It's really like Batman in that interrogation scene in The Dark Knight. Just keeps, he wants the answer, but he just keeps punching the Joker. It's like, well, if you stop punching me, I could say something. But Jinbei was just like, bro, I'm not telling you anything. Michael Lacoste.
Savage.
All the music themes, tracks, all the themes of music track with how banger most One Piece openings are. And the OST. Don't sleep on the OST either. You know?
Savage.
My guy, Stefan Sokolowski. Thank you. Do you think the world government could have been created by pirates similar to the Rock's Blackbeard? That's why they don't want people learning the truth, aside from their atrocities. Keep up the great streams, man. So, in my mind, the world government was established by evil people pretending to be good. Right? I mean, that's just what it is. There would have been an ancient kingdom where everything was prosperous and all this stuff was great. And then here comes a group of people, you know, you could say, you know, Blackbeard and all of that, although I don't know if Rocks necessarily tracks in my own headcanon, but I'll do a video on that. But yeah, a group of people come in saying that they have the best interests, in, you know, of the people involved and all of that, but they don't. And they managed to get control for centuries and create this illusion that they're the good guys. And I think that that's the whole, you know, the whole thing with the story is that, you know, Luffy is a bad guy because he's a pirate, right? He's such a bad guy going around saving all of these countries, saving these kings, saving these people and all of this stuff, but he's not a hero. He's not a hero. The world government, they're the heroes, the Marines. Yeah. Yeah. Crocodile did all of that awful stuff in Alabasta, but it was a good thing that that Captain Smoker was there to stop him, you know? So Roger's sword was named Ace. That's the will he passed on. It's like, I'm just naming my son after my sword. Mondo Cool TV. Wano has such a focus on Japanese folklore. I would guess the sun god would be a goddess like Amaterasu. And it's probably Vivi because she made it rain. I'm okay with that. Anything that brings, you know, the queen back to the story. Lucy B said Roger's sword was one of the 12 supreme swords. Okay, well, I mean, I would hope so. He was the pirate king. But it's good to have the clarification. I'm glad. I love the Fever cards. I think we should be getting the information within the actual source material, but having the companion piece to flesh things out in a story this storied is great. Marco's bounty is 1.374 billy. All right. Well, we knew, based on what they were saying, was that Luffy had the highest bounty out of all of the rebels, you know, in the alliance. So that immediately put Marco beneath him. Michael Lacoste said, I don't think Roger named Ace, though. He actually did. He told Porcus de Rouge that if it was a boy, name him Ace, and if it was a girl, name him Anne. Which is why there were so many theories back in the day about Bonnie being a potential child of Roger, because Bonnie is based on the pirate Anne Bonny. So, yeah. There was a lot of stuff with that. And with everything and why, you know, the government was going after her back in the day, it was a pretty solid theory. I think it's kind of been debunked now, but not entirely, but you know, I'm not believing it too much. Raizo, my guy.
Savage.
At this point, how long do you see Wano ending up being? Oh, man. That's a good question. So, making me do math, bro. Let's see. So, it seems like Jinbei and Who's Who is pretty much wrapped up. We got the hybrid forms of Queen and Who's Who last chapter. We have to get hybrid forms for the rest. So, you know, I think 1019 is probably a solid time for Black Maria's hybrid form to be revealed and get some Robin action. That's the next thing I need. I need a chapter as in depth with the fighting as this was for Robin. It's never happened, and I need it. So the next steps, similar to how in 998 Oda gave us like an entire chapter that was just, this page is this person's devil fruit, this page is this person's devil fruit, this page is this person's devil fruit, but it was all their full Zoan forms. Or wait, technically, didn't we see Black Maria's hybrid form is what we're looking at, isn't it? I guess we were already seeing it. Because she had the spider legs, but she had the human top half. But I feel like there has to be something where... See, now that's weird to me. Because that would be the first time that a hybrid form didn't affect the rest of the body. It just affected one half of the body. Really the only true hybrid form we've ever seen at that point, I guess. You know, I want to see something where we see Black Maria's face, right? And now she's got 8 eyes or something. And like spider arms are, you know, coming out of her back. I'd want to see something like that. That's what I mean in terms of a hybrid form. I haven't looked at the chat, but I don't know if people were saying like, oh, we did kind of see her hybrid form. We need King's hybrid form. So, Sasaki. Did we see that yet? No. We didn't see Sasaki in a hybrid form yet. So I think the goal is now to see the rest of the hybrid forms, start getting through these fights. We have to... The citizens of Wano need to see Onigashima. They need to come up and devise a plan to protect Wano from Onigashima, which will be what Momonosuke and Shinobu will probably do. Luffy needs to get out of the submarine and figure out how to get back onto Onigashima. We've got a lot, guys. Because then there's CP0 and Big Mom and all of this. Like, this is going to go for another... Including the epilogue, like, This could go for another 30, 40 chapters. Because it's like probably another 10 chapters to sort of square away everybody's fights. So this is like Zoro getting out of the pack, going up against Hybrid King and all of this. Marco getting candied by Parasparrow, getting saved, whatever Marco has to do after that. Somehow Luffy getting back up top. All of the stuff with Wano. 10 solid chapters of Luffy fighting Kaido, probably. Maybe 6 to 10 chapters of that. 3 chapters of a prologue in between, showing us what's going on with the Reverie and all of that. At least a 3-chapter flashback for Kaido and Yamato. There's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff. Let's see. Missed some supers while I was on that rant. Gabe C, just wanted to show some love. Keep it up, my man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Enigma Sword.
Savage.
The Django Dance Carnival short will be canon. I need to bring back that that techno song and that. Oh man. Vishal Moore said, what will be Dragon's bounty? Well, considering he's considered the most wanted man in the world, he may have a higher bounty than Roger. So he said he's the most wanted man in the world. But then that could also tie to the most wanted living man, right? So he could be above Kaido but below what Whitebeard and Roger's bounties were. But he was considered the most wanted man even when Whitebeard was alive, so I guess he would be above Whitebeard but below Roger. Or above him. It's the most wanted man in the world, you know? Who knows? Giovanni Velez said, interesting chapter. Gotta go. I'm moving. Well, have a safe move. Rao said, Randy with the quick maths. 2 plus 2. Oh, man. 2 plus 2 is 4, minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Oh, man's not hot. Bringing back the old memes. Dimitri sent a super chat.
Savage.
Thank you. When I learned about Nika in this chapter being a sun god, it immediately drew my mind to Uranus. You think Uranus could be whoever Joy Boy is? I mean, I think there's a potential for just about anything, right? My headcanon for all of the ancient weapons, though, is that Poseidon is the sea, Pluton is probably the land, or the sky. Either, I think it's land, sea, and air. So Uranus could be the land version, it could be the sky version, or Pluton could be the land version or the sky version. I don't know. But I think that Uranus and Joy Boy will be two different people in two different things. Michael Lacoste said, does she have a regular spider zone, or does she have a mythical zone, like a Jorogumu? Do you have any spider demon? They shapeshift into beautiful women to trap victims. Yeah, so when... before it was revealed that Black Maria had her fruit, I put out a review where I was talking about how her design resembled a Jorogumu, and I said that she probably does have a spider zone. So that was one of the early another ones. And that, you're right. Like, it could be an explanation as to why her hybrid form is weird and non-traditional to some of the other ones. Either way, I mean, she's got the Rose Magile or Rose Magalia. I can't remember what the pronunciation for the spider that she has is, but either way, she is a representation of a Jorogumu. Her design, everything about it, it's all that. It's all part of the Jorogumu folklore. Chini's heading out. It's 2 a.m. where he is. All right. Appreciate you dropping by, though. Seb Music said that Queen's going to beat up Sanji in his hybrid form, but the raid suit Sanji's going to come back, hit him with that Concasseur. I need him to use Diable Jambe while in the raid suit. I need that.
Bro, look, he got the heat on feet, bro.
I need that. I need that in the raid suit. King J said, Randy, Oda was once asked to reveal his favorite panel. He said that it's the one where where they celebrate around the campfire in Skypiea. That's the exact scene where we see Luffy's silhouette. So I said that very early on in the previous stream, in the part 1. So we did talk about that. I talked about when Oda was asked about all 3 of his things. He said that there was a panel in Shimandi Archipelago when he was like, Robin had like a sticky soapy substance on her hand, and she rubs it on Usopp and he gets all upset. That was one of the panels. The other one was the very first panel of the Flower Capital, and then his favorite panel in the series is just Luffy and all of the gang dancing in the fire and all of that, and that's what everybody is drawing to with the Sun God. So I also said that it's no mistake for us to want to make these comparisons, because Oda obviously wants us to, because that's his favorite moment in the series. And he was talking about moments that aren't very popular. Pro DLC.
Savage.
Everyone is an ancient weapon. Emu is the moon. Nika, Joy Boy, is the sun. Poseidon is the sea. Pluton is the earth. Uranus, the sky. Maybe they're on specific cycles. Yeah. I mean, it all checks out. Hello Ling said, do you think the numbers 1, 2, and 3 will actually be formidable, or just like the others, because we didn't see them yet? The numbers, to begin with, are definitely all there to just be fodder for certain people. So it's like, it's Oda's way of just being able to, like, you know, when everything starts to get all muddy, he has a couple of characters in his back pocket that he can have this person fight with, so that it moves the pacing of the story around. That's all the numbers serve. You know, it was just a way to show some strength feats at a certain point. Kawamatsu and Izo still have things that they're going to have to do, so it's possible that they're going to take them on. Usopp is also, you know, like, he's protecting Tama, but at the same time, he did have the lie where he said that he took out 10 giants, and he told Chopper that on the way to Jaya. So I've always thought that Usopp really should take on some of those numbers, and that'd be good for him. Marcos Vivoni asked if Black Maria was a smile fruit user. She is not. She is not. The smile that was on the abdomen of her spider, I think, just ties into the Juragumu folklore. Alright, checking back on the chat. Let's see. Drake Lucan, do you think the currents around Wano are artificial to keep the country closed off? I think that something is creating the currents, and that whatever is creating the currents could either be stopped or reversed, and then that'll open the borders, yeah. Let's see. So I'm going to take a look back at the chapter, see if there's anything else that I could see that I might miss. So I feel like we've covered a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to, like, you know, when we end the stream, I want to go and, like, research and look into. Definitely the West Indian Joy Boy. Joyo Boyo. And all of this Persian stuff with Nika. I really like, you know, one of my favorite moments of the chapter really is just Nami telling Zeus that they can be partners instead. It's just really wholesome, and I love it. So it seems like CP0 really is there to make sure that Who's Who dies. The victor of this is of no consequence to us. We just need to confirm his death. He's facing Jinbei after all. So it's obvious, it's very clear that they're talking about Who's Who. Confidential information he should have would be dated by now anyway. Talking about when he was privy to the, very proprietary information that CP9 and CP0 would have based on the Celestial Dragons and all this other stuff. But that also implies that there's been significant alterations and changes to different things in the world and different ways that they operate to where, this guy doesn't seem that concerned about. So, allowing a rogue escapee to live would set a bad precedent. How long has he been free? Because that's the thing, we still don't know where he was prisoned. That's sort of bothering me. He said that him and Jinbei had met. Now, that could have been at a warlord meeting in Marijoa, but it just makes more sense if he was a level 6 prisoner. But even then, it seems like the implication is that he was kept with the slaves at Marijoa. So, man. Second. This is all very interesting. The Nika stuff is cool, but there's a lot of implications about the fact that CP0 want Who's Who dead. Because it just creates this sort of timeline thing. Was he saved by Fischer Tiger? Because then he's been around for a really long time, and it's how did this dude elude CP0 for this long? Changed his name to Who's Who, put on a mask, and then they suddenly didn't know it was him? I'm sure they gave him his fruit. It took him this long to figure out that he was shacked up with Kaido? Because I forget the timeline for that, but that was at least, let's see, Koala was probably 24 or something. She was 8 then. Math. So it's well, we know that 12 years ago, he was still a CP9 agent. When did the Fischer Tiger thing happen? Now I need to look at the timeline at the Library of Ohara, because I want to know when the Fischer Tiger thing was. I want to know how many years ago that was. Let's see. Alright. I'm looking at the timeline map now over at Library of Ohara, trying to figure out how long ago Fischer Tiger rescued the slaves, freed Boa Hancock. Because the other thing, too, is I feel like it had to have been longer than 12 years ago, because Boa Hancock is significantly older than Luffy is, so... Great Age of Pirates. So, Fischer Tiger returns from his travels to Fishman Island, keeping the secret that he was a slave of the Tenryubitu. He tells Neptune and Odahime of his plans to attack Marijoa, and that was in 1508, which was... I think that was after Luffy ate us? No. Yeah, that was in 1508. Okay. Luffy didn't eat his fruit until 1512, so that was 16 years ago that happened. Then Fischer Tiger scales the Red Line, lays waste to Marijoa, freeing hundreds of slaves 15 years ago. So he was not saved by Fischer Tiger. Confirmed. He was not saved by Fischer Tiger. That did not happen. Because 12 years ago he was on the ship with the Gomu Gomu. So he escaped from his prison after that. So we can't talk about the Fischer Tiger thing anymore. The timeline doesn't match. Okay. So we debunked that. Boom. Gone. Wasn't then. Man. So then I guess it's like its own isolated incident. That's interesting. That's interesting. All right. This is going to be one of those chapters where it's going to be very beneficial to read the official as well, guys. So, you know, I always encourage everybody to, you know, not only read the scans because we all need our One Piece fix, but we still have to support the Zolo boys and all of that, because sometimes translations and things are it's just always for the best. Kagemusha said maybe he was kept in Eddie's lobby. I mean, that I just had that thought as well, and I was trying to look at the timeline of when Tom was there and all of that, and like maybe it had something to do with that, and that would track out more because Tom's execution was like 11 years ago, I think. What was it? No. 10 years ago. Very Motivated said, is him breaking himself out an impossible incident? Did I miss that? Someone broke him out at some point. No, it's not. Especially considering that apparently Fischer Tiger broke himself out at Marijoa, right? So it seems like it's possible. And then he was able to break into Marijoa and free all of those slaves. So it's still very possible that Who's Who was kept there and was able to break himself out much in the way that Fischer Tiger did, just on a different timeline and a different year. It seems more and more unlikely that it was impelled down, because other than, you know, the Luffy incident, the only time anyone ever broke out was Shiki. So, and it seems like the implication here is that Who's Who has been free for longer than Luffy's been a pirate. But that just diminishes CP0 for me. You know? The most intelligent group in the world, apparently, right? Here, one of the ranks slips out, escapes. and they didn't know they'd shacked up with Kaido for more than 2 years, because that's the implication here. Like, if it was the Impel Down situation and he was a level 6 prisoner and like Blackbeard let him out, or something like that, or who's a Blackbeard spy, it's like, oh, go shack up with Kaido, but really you work for me. Like, that would be a little more interesting to me. But if he just broke out randomly somewhere, then went and started and has been with Kaido for longer than 2 years, and CP0 has had this deal with Orochi and Kaido for all of these years to get these weapons to start these wars, which we know have been going on for a long time because of Doflamingo and the Germa interfering and all of that stuff. So it's just, why would they act now? They seem so concerned with what he knows and what he doesn't know, that the timeline really has to be something more condensed. If it's too long, then I'm just like, CP0, what were you doing this whole time? Emil Diaz says, Who's Who is not his real name and he wears a mask. Yeah, of course, but, it's like, Sogeking rules apply. Is everybody in CP0 Luffy? It's like, we can look at this mask and look at him and then go back to, now that we know that it confirmed that he's Cypherpole, we'll go back to Ohara and see the guy that's with Spandine and Lasky, who is Khalifa's dad, and Spandine is Spandam's dad. And I like the idea that Galaxy brought up, where that guy could actually be Who's Who's dad and not actually Who's Who, because he looks older anyway. Then you just have a bunch of former CP9 guys, their parents, like it's a different generation. But I mean, if you watch the review, like, I put the mask on that guy from Ohara, and it looks like Who's Who. So it's, if CP0 is supposed to be as intelligent as they're supposed to be, like, they should be able to do that too. Net Carey, hey Randy, do you think Gin is in Wano? No, but I would hope that he was. I don't know. The best timeline for me right now, until Oda tells me the truth and it beats everything for me, is that Who's Who was in Impel Down. He was broken out by Blackbeard. He shacked up with Kaido sometime in between the past 2 years. Who's Who changed his name to Who's Who, put on the mask, and now CP0 suddenly realized that he was a member of the crew when they came over to talk with Orochi, because they were probably dealing with Orochi via snails and all of that, and hadn't come over until it was necessary to do so, because they dealt with Doflamingo directly, and Doflamingo coordinated it. I mean, that's another possibility too. So I guess any timeline works if this is the way it works. CP0 only talked to Doflamingo. Doflamingo then talked to Kaido, who made all of the plans with Orochi and all of that. Then it went back to Doflamingo, then back to CP0, and the only reason that CP0 was even there to talk to Orochi in the first place was because Doflamingo was out of the picture. So yeah, that checks out. That makes sense to me. Ryo said Who's Who was originally a woman, had Ivankov turn him into a man when he was in Impel Down. Then he joined Kaido. It's funny. Aimane said the Viver cards revealed that Raizo has the scroll fruit. Is that true? Because we were talking about whether that was a fruit or not when he did that unbelievable scroll attack on Kaido in like 993 or whatever it was. Nope, nope. Morley also escaped from Impel Down. So maybe Who's Who did it as well. That's true. People forget about Morley. And it's interesting that, you know, like, we have the thing that Shiki was the only person to ever escape Impel Down. But yeah, Morley created level 5.5 and escaped as well. Like, I forgot about that. Coraline said, and a guard in Impel Down knew about Nika. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes more sense if Nika, you know, was... if that's why I originally immediately jumped to, well, then he had to be in Marijoa, right? Because the guards there would probably know something about that. Evo said, yep, Raizo has a fruit. Yep. And you know what's funny is I was actually going to make... at some point around that time, I was going to make a video about whether Raizo had a fruit or not. But, and I, like, went back and I was, like, searching for panels and all that, and I saw that, like, we never saw Raizo in the water. And even when Kinemon and Raizo and Momonosuke and Kanji were all separated on the way to Zou, you can see that Raizo is actually on a plank, which furthered the idea that Oda was trying to keep him out of the water, and like it just built that. But I didn't think it was like a strong enough video for its own thing. I was just like, this video is gonna be like 3 minutes. I think Raizo is a fruit, guys. So I never made it. Maki Maki no Mi. Love it. Hope D-Water. Morally low diffed Impel Down and created an oasis for the homies. It's a hot take, Chin. He said he doesn't think Shinobu will survive. Right now, I don't think Who's Who will survive. They want this man dead. He might just die. But then the other thing, too, is, you know, if all of these Tobi Roppo guys turn on Kaido, it tracks with everything that we know about this stuff, right? They all seem very traitorous. Most of them were pirates that had their own crew and just had their wills broken. And if Luffy can do something to give these guys their will to sort of secede and be their own person again, they may follow Luffy and help take Kaido out. Who's Who may be like a key component to defeating CP0. He may give them some sort of information. He may give them the game. Like, hey, like, some of my information may be outdated right now, but I'll tell you this, this, and this. We already know he's a talker, right? So there's a potential for that as well. Either way, I don't think that this is the last that we're seeing of Who's Who. You know, even though it seems like Jinbei's won, right? And I think that Jinbei will win, but there's a lot of avenues and ways that Oda can go with this. He could have CP0 take out Who's Who and that's it, and you know, whatever. We eventually get some sort of a flashback. We'll see Who's Who with Shanks. Or Who's Who comes around. Gives us a game. Very motivated, Sen. They're all in it for themselves, even Kaido's ranks. They're in it to climb the ladder. Exactly. So if they see that that ladder is breaking, right? The rungs are falling, that there's nowhere to climb, then, you know, these people are going to want to go off on their own and create their own new ladder, or climb the ladder that they're seeing Luffy building. So Void Worshipper said Luffy doesn't work with racists. Yeah, I agree with that, but he doesn't have to work with him. You know, it's not like Luffy's going to say, like, oh, I don't... Who's going to do what he wants to do? That's basically what I'm saying. It's not that Luffy's going to say, like, hey, you know, join me and whatever. Lucy B said, would Jinbei persuade Who's Who now for more information? Well, actually, it would be... I would love to see the tables turn, where, like, Jinbei's been saying, you know, like, I don't care about what you're doing, but then something triggers, and then he's like, actually, I would like some information, and then Jinbei starts doing the interrogation. That'd be good. Jinbei walks away with, like, a crucial piece of information that helps us later on. I just saw something interesting, but I lost it. Yeah. Kagemusha said Jinbei broke his mask after the last attack, right? So we can finally see his face. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, he hit him right in the face, so it's possible. I'm here for it. Break stream next week, Randy? Yeah, of course. You know, we're gonna do something next Friday or Saturday. Figure it out. Not sure what it's gonna be. I know that, like, the last one we did, you know, we did the Chrissy and I did the thing where we were talking about our favorite moments from different arcs, and that was easy to do because my mom was here to watch Mars. But it's gonna be hard for us to do a dual stream unless it's like way later at night when he's asleep. So it'll probably just be something that I do. So we have to come up with something else, and I guess, like, you know, finish the favorite moments thing another time. I was liking the idea that I got earlier about talking about the real world applications of characters and islands and all of that, and we could talk about all that stuff. But I still feel like we need pictures for that. So I would have to figure out some sort of way to do a screen capture or something like that. I don't know, maybe that's easier with a different thing, not OBS. I hear, like, people use Streamlabs a lot too, so I don't know. Should I switch? Drop some break stream ideas, guys. You know, we'll see. Figure something out. You know, the goal with the break streams, you know, I want to engage you guys. I want to engage the community. I want to engage the discussion. You know. Galaxy said, if you need something to do during a stream, we also have the quiz ready to go. Oh yeah, because you guys have been working on a quiz, right? That could be fun. Now, how would we set that up? And would it just be me doing the questions? Because I mean, I think it would be more fun to have other people doing it as well. I don't know. Evo Warrior said it's going to be on Kahoot with everyone who wants to joining in. Anyone will be able to join. Is there like a Is there like a limit to how many people can be in it? Because I mean, like, if we end up getting, you know, like, I mean, even now, let's see, what we have 264 people in here. Like, could something like that handle it? I mean, and sometimes we get like 600-700 people on those streams. Is everyone going to be able to participate in the quiz? Kagabushi said, been waiting for a collab stream. Take your time, of course. Yeah, I definitely want to do something like that, but, you know, I have to figure it out. Waterumi said, Kahoot wouldn't really work because of a stream delay. Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah, because there is a stream delay. So it would be a thing where, like, you guys would be able to answer the questions probably before I could or something. I don't know. Or we would be answering the questions, but you would be hearing me talking about the questions after we're on to the next question. Something like that. No. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm still down to do it. Down to do it. I like the idea of it. So. Chin said, do an impressions One Piece laugh videos. So I do want to do something like that. I do want to do something like that. But I mean, that's not whole stream worthy thing, you know, to just do all of that. Coraline said it'd be fine. We'd get the questions at the same time. We'd just see you react later. Okay. I feel like the stream is at least 30. The delay is at least 30 seconds. Roberto said, rank your figures on a tier list. I wouldn't mind doing that, but I feel like that's probably only going to be interesting to like 10 people. So. Oh, man. What are some other good ones? Kermit the Frog Kaido laugh. Mugiwara, there's too many conquerors around here. Raime Hake. We gotta read Roger's speech in the Kermit voice. Wealth, fame, power. I left everything I own in one piece. Don Quixote D. Bellamy. Out here hating. Very motivated. Said ranking streams always a good default. Yeah. And if I can figure out how to do the capture thing where you can see the screen, I can do like a tier list thing. I can't touch JD Legend's Blackbeard voice. I can't touch that. I'm not even gonna try. But I definitely got that man on Foxy though. Let's see. Pima Wangchuck, sup bro, nice to meet you. It's my first time. Welcome over here. We're on to like the tail end of the stream where now we're just fooling around and hanging out. Galaxy said screen sharing would also be fun when you're looking at panels during the live reaction. Yeah, but see, the thing about that is, I'm not trying to get flagged. The world government was already like lagging the stream and everything to begin with. So, even when I do the reviews, I like make the panels opaque and all that stuff. So if they have any sort of like reader technology or anything like that, I'm not trying to get got. So Don Quixote D. Bellamy said, I'm not Bellamy, I'm Dellinger, beating the hell out of Bellamy. Alright, so then, my man, you can take your high heels and get out of here with all of the bullshit. Dellinger's not better than Bellamy. Dellinger's never coming back in the story, but you know who is? Bellamy. Do I think Shiri would have some connections with Wano and the Korazumi? No. No, I don't think so. But I do think that King has some connection to Shiryu based on their outfits and the whole Impel Down thing. So, the early spoilers. So I think it. I mean, I keep saying this, but I think it's time. Like, we got to go and see Robin. And we need updates before we can do anything else. We need updates on Robin. We need updates on Drake, and Zoro's got to break out of the pack. And also King. We haven't seen anything with King in a while, so we need a Marco and King chapter. I'm still waiting for Perospero to get back up and candy Marco up. So, yeah. It's kind of the point of the arc where I know the stuff that needs to happen, but I don't know when Oda's going to do it. So it's like, I can give you early spoilers for the next couple of chapters, but directly 1019, I don't know. Killer versus Hawkins, I feel, is going to be mostly off-screened. And we're going to come into that at the tail end. I think it would be interesting if Hawkins actually won. But, yeah. It's not as important of a fight. I guess Oda could go back to Kid and Law versus Big Mom, because it's been a while since we've seen some of like the some stuff with them, and Oda may be pressured by the editors to give us stuff that relates to the characters the people want to see. So yeah. And even with that respect, then the next chapter could be a Zoro-focused chapter. I think Oda's probably going to have to buy some time with his editors before he's going to go to Robin. I want Robin versus Black Maria, but I think since he just gave us all this Who's Who and Jinbei stuff, Oda's going to feel pressured to go and give us like either some Zoro Sanji live floor stuff, Marco, Perospero, all of that. And then after he's like bought the good graces of the majority of the community that only wants to see the main characters, then he can go and do some Robin stuff. Oh, wait. 1019 is the anniversary chapter, isn't it? Yeah. So that changes the predictions around a little bit. Maybe we'll get an update on Luffy and the sub. And then I think it's going to be Zoro breaking out of the pack. The effects of that thing working. Marco King, Sanji Queen. As much as I want it to be Robin, I think for the anniversary he's going to focus more on the monster trio. PXPX, Denjiro went missing. Did someone see my boy? Like I've been saying, Denjiro's either going to run into Hiyori or he's going to interfere with the Frankie fight and turn Sasuke on our side. Gabe C, I must have missed that chat. I'm sorry. Savage. He said, when we get the Robin versus Black Maria fight, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it too. Especially if it like takes up the whole chapter like this chapter did, because that's what we need. Robin deserves it. So. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna end here. It's been a lot of fun, even though we did have that we did have the difficulties earlier, but I appreciate everybody sticking through, hanging out, all of that. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to all the new members. Shout out to all the members that have continued to be members. Appreciate you guys. And we'll have discussions in the Discord about what the break stream topic will be. And then somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday, maybe I'll make a community post and either announce it or maybe even have a poll. Maybe we'll get a couple of different things and I'll set up a poll on YouTube, and then we can vote for it, and then that's what we'll do next week for the break. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go see how those meatballs are doing. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. As always, I'll see you for the break week stream, and then for 1019 the week later. Fun, fun, fun.